So the mad genius who is Jeff Cavalier created a variation of the lat pull, and I hereby name it the Jeff pull.
What you're allowing yourself to do is to do a vertical pull to get the benefits of the overhand straight up and straight down, adduction going on from that vertical lat pull down, and then add the additional extension, the all-important key extension at the very end by stopping the bar at about forehead height and then driving down one elbow to take over the rest of the load.
In this video, I'm going to look into that movement and my experiences with it and some specific tips that I have for you if you choose to incorporate it into your program. So I've been focusing on lat activation very recently. Indeed, if you watched my recent video, I highlighted how you can use the cable machine and a handle grip to help you to activate the lats through a more functional movement. And then I came across this video by Athlean X a few days ago, which perfectly fits into what I was looking at. So my natural instinct was to try what he was saying in his video. Now, first of all, I've linked his video below. It's much better than my video, so please go ahead and watch that, where he perfectly explains why he's using this variation of movement, the way that it relates to the movement of the muscles and the muscles activated. And so essentially what you are doing with the lat pull down is creating that extra adduction and extension by essentially twisting the bar. So you will all be used to the traditional lat pull down, that vertical pull through the frontal plane to the upper chest, activating the lats. And so a few pointers that I have after I've been through this exercise are, first of all, hand position. I believe that that slightly wider than shoulder position hand grip is optimal for this movement. If you use a too narrower grip, you're not able to move through that range of motion through the adduction of the movement. In addition, if you use a very wide grip, whilst you are able to feel that peak contraction, it doesn't feel quite as comfortable as the more neutral shoulder width grip as shown here. The second point I have is that your natural instinct may be to pull vertically through the frontal plane to then stop and then add that twist. And so I think it's important that you maintain the smooth movement through the function of the exercise. Don't break it into two separate movements. It should be one fluid movement. And so, of course, what you are doing by adding this alteration is not just moving through the frontal plane, but it allows you more of a contraction through the transverse plane of motion. And by adding this extra emphasis in the transverse plane of motion, it most certainly puts you into a position where you can dig deeper into the contraction of the lats.
You want to train your lats in as many key functions as they have. If your lats can extend, you want to extend. If your lats can adduct, you want to adduct. If your lats can extend and adduct, as you can see here, then you want to do both.
And so this brings me on to the idea of maintaining a conscious peak contraction. This movement will automatically create that lat activation, but that doesn't mean that you should ignore the conscious peak contraction. Make sure that even if you're doing this adaptation, that you are still focusing on that static squeeze for that peak contraction. Now, how would I use this in a workout program? Well, I would not get rid of a lat pull down. Lat pull downs are a staple, vertical pulling through the frontal plane. But what I would do is you can add it in even within one set. You can mix traditional lat pull downs with the Jeff pull in one set, rep after rep. Or you can do this alteration in one workout or over 1 week or over 2 weeks. But so I don't think the idea with anything like this in fitness, the idea is not to get rid of the traditional lat pull down. It's to add these variations into your program, and really that's up to you. And it's not just the physiological benefits that you can gain from something like this, it's also the mental benefits in terms of having something new and interesting to look forward to in the gym. Please try this out and let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to do a Q&A on fat loss, my first ever Q&A. The theme is anything to do with fat loss. So if you have any questions for that video, please put them in the comments down below. I'm James Linker. See you soon.